find an equation of an inverse of a function, we first start by replacing the function name by y. So over here, it says f of x equals x plus 3 cubed minus 1. Change that f of x to y and keep everything else exactly the same for right now. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step 2, we are going to interchange x and y. So switch x and y. So look over here, we have an x and we have an y, right? We're going to switch these two and have x equals y plus 3 cubed minus 1. So that's what they mean by interchange x and y. We switch x and y. We're done with step number 2. And step 3 will take some time. We're going to now solve for the variable y. So down here, if you notice, y is getting a couple things done to it already, right? Y is getting added by 3. Then we're getting raised to the third power. And then the last thing that it got done was subtracting 1. So we're going to get rid of this subtracting 1 first, because whenever you are undoing something, you do it in the opposite order. So when you notice x plus 3 cubed minus 1, when you want to undo everything, you will get rid of that minus 1 first, this cube, and then this adding 1 last. Okay? So start by adding 1 to both sides. Plus 1 on both sides. If you add 1, the left side will turn into x plus 1 equals, now just this part comes down, right? But this plus 1 is now gone, and this minus 1 is now gone. Okay? Alright, let's continue solving for y. How do you get rid of cubing? Well, this is where we are going to take a cube root of both sides. So look, when you take cube root of the right side and cube root of the left side, the cubing and the cube rooting, I'll highlight that. So this cube root house and this little exponent of 3, they cancel each out, okay? The only thing left is this y plus 3 that was inside. So that comes straight out. No more cube rooting or cubing. They cancel each out. Now on the left side though, this entire thing will have to come down. Okay, now we're one step away from solving for y. Last thing you will have to do is subtract 3 from both sides. Minus 3, minus 3. You can't really subtract 3 from this inside of the cube root. So the only thing you'll be able to do is just write it after it. So there was cube root of x plus 1, right? But outside that cube root is where you will put minus 3, okay? You cannot put that inside. Make sure that stays outside, okay? So that's what the inverse function is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to write the inverse notation. Okay, that's step number 4. So we just solve for y. The last step is to replace y by this inverse notation. So look, we're going to write f inverse of x equals, you notice this, when I wrote this notation, I read f inverse of x, right? So this notation of like almost looking like a -1 in the exponent, right? We're not raising f to the negative first power. This means f inverse of x. It's just notation that we use to write an inverse function. Equals what we just found, this right here. Ta-da! We found the inverse function. This is the answer. And that is pretty much what we're going to be doing for this first topic of inverse function. And this one is cube or cube root, but the other ones are very similar too. I'm going to stop this video and then I'll start another one on another example, okay?